Hey everyone, this is Pete, and welcome back to Atari A to Z, a series of short playthroughs of Atari 8-bit games, some which I grew up with and some which are new to me. Today is one of the former. This is Satan's Hollow. This was originally released in arcades in 1982. Atari 8-bit and Atari 5200 ports were completed, but they were never released for some reason. But as always in the case of stuff like this, prototypes and things that didn't actually get released, it somehow found its way out into the wild through piracy groups, user groups and that sort of thing. As you might expect, this game attracted a little bit of controversy at the time for bringing Satan to the mainstream, shall we say, but it didn't really seem to suffer any particular ill effects as a result of that, and it's fondly regarded as a solid instalment in sort of the pantheon of fixed shooters from the early 80s today. And it's a long-standing favourite of mine as well. I've always enjoyed this, and the Atari 8-bit port is really solid. So, let's go play Satan's Hollow.
Okay, here we are with Satan's Hollow from Bally Midway. This was a favourite growing up, and I really like the arcade version of this as well. Alright, let's just play. Excuse you, cat. My cat Patty is sitting with me once again, so if there's any weird noises and claw attacks, then that's what happens. Let's start level 1. So, those of you who remained with me for the full 40 minutes of Raid over Moscow last time, we shouldn't be quite so long this time, because this is a much simpler game. This is a game about shooting evil things and building bridges. Oh, and dying. Yeah, I am apparently rusty. So if you never played this game before, the gist is that you are trying to kill Satan, because of course you are. And in order to do that, you need to build a bridge across his rather small pit of fire, which you could clearly just walk around if you wanted to. But while you're doing that, you may as well also shoot some of his minions as well, because the bridge pieces don't appear until you shoot at least one of them. But you'll notice that the more phases you go through, the more difficult they get as well. So there we go, that's one game already. Let's try again. So what you probably want to do, if you can avoid the bullets, is shoot one thing, grab a thing, shoot one thing, grab a thing, and repeat. Because that will give you, although it's perhaps not the most exciting way to play, it will mean that you can build the bridge without having to worry too much about difficult attack patterns. You stole a life, you shit! Yeah, this is very much old school arcade hard here. It wants you to keep trying again, so it's sometimes not the fairest game in the world. But, well, while we don't have to shove 10p's into it, we can just try again. This is actually a really solid port of the arcade game. I mean, it's not arcade perfect or anything, but the graphics are pretty close to the arcade original. And it plays just as well, certainly. Oops. So it's a real shame that this version was never officially released. Okay, we've finished our bridge, so we go across, and then we fight Satan. And Satan is kind of pathetic. He's just a little bouncy man who just takes one hit to kill. And then you get a bonus for how many stages you went through. And then you do the whole thing again, with a slightly bigger pit of fire. So you may notice that shield meter at the bottom of the screen. If you pull back on the joystick, you can shield yourself temporarily. That recharges over time. But yeah, so you want to try and minimise its use as much as possible, because it doesn't last for very long if you kind of maintain it. And so playing this game, you want to try and get into a kind of rhythm of just moving back and forth, watching out for the particularly dangerous enemies, like those devils that shoot the things that continue to flame on the ground, and being able to deal with Beelzebub, who is the floating demon head, who is much more dangerous than Satan. Because Satan, as we've said, is pathetic. Here's Beelzebub. He also dies with one hit, but he has that horrible flaming fire attack thing. Which I think my family as well, always used to think looked like he was just trying to use a giant Hoover on you. Which is a mental image I find very appealing. That's Beelzebub taking to the skies to try and hoover up his enemies. Oh no! Don't you Galaxian me! Oh, I should have shielded! But I died instead. Alright, one more try. Let's bump up the difficulty to 9 and see what happens. I expect instant death. I haven't died yet. I'm disappointed that I haven't died yet. Although they do seem to start Galaxiansing a lot earlier than they did. Oh god, and we get loads more of those bastards. Oh dear. Yeah, this is harder. maybe we go back to 1. But one last try. I won't keep you for 40 minutes like our raid on Moscow. But you know, that was... the fate of the world was at stake. Whereas here, we're just trying to save the world from Satan, that's all. I don't even know if you're trying to save the world from Satan. The name Satan's Hollow kind of implies that you're going on the offence against Satan, so... Satan hadn't necessarily done anything, you just decided to go and attack him because, you know, Satan's a bad guy. I say that like Satan isn't a bad guy. Yeah, Satan is the literal devil, so, you know. But even so, if he's not done anything, should you really just go and attack him? I don't know. I didn't know that God was big on preemptive strikes. Or indeed, having spaceships handy. Well, that went badly. One more try. One more. Maybe one more. Probably one more. Bring it on, Satan! This occurred to me that I think I left my back door open. So someone outside probably just heard me shouting, "Bring it on, Satan." Well, if they're eavesdropping, they deserve everything they get. Oh, excuse me. Yes! Got your number, devil boy. Yeah, I just find it amusing in this game that, like, the incidental enemies are much more dangerous than the supposed bosses. But we're talking about an era of gaming where boss fights were not at all common. So obviously, sort of, opinions vary as to what the first boss in gaming was, but certainly one of the earliest ones was Sasuke vs. Commander by SNK, which is a game that looks very much like Satan's Hollow. I believe it came first as well, so It's not a rip-off of this by any means, and this isn't a rip-off of Sasuke vs. Commander either, but just the visual presentation, that sort of early pixel art, early detailed background, they certainly bear a resemblance. And the idea of structuring the game in such a way that you kind of alternate between regular stages and boss fights as well. Oh, they've been blown holes in my bridge. Little shits. Come on, devil boy. I got your number. Oh! That was mean. Oh, my bridge is still there. Okay. So I'm going to keep over this way. Ouch! Ouch! Oh, I think that's probably enough of that for now. Yeah, Satan's Hollow. That's a really solid Atari 8-bit port. Also available, well, not available, but also intended to be released on the Atari 5200 as well. So yeah, it's a real shame that never came to actual fruition, but it is out there, and you can find a copy pretty easily. So, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please help out the channel by leaving a like or a comment and subscribing. New episodes of Atari A to Z are on Tuesdays and Atari ST A to Z on Thursdays. Check out atariatoz.wordpress.com for a full archive. Do please also check out my other projects moegamer.net, where I explore Japanese and Japanese-inspired games from yesterday and today, and videopackgames.wordpress.com, which aims to catalogue a small but well-formed library of the Philips G7000 Videopack computer, also known as the Magnavox Odyssey 2. You can also support my work on Patreon or buy me a coffee. You can find links to do both down in the video description. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.